Okay, so I'm gonna be going over a bunch of tips and tricks that I learned being a recon Marine, and also even before when I was going through a special operations prep program called SOCOM Athlete, how we get through impossible tasks and what gives us the mentality to never quit, no matter what, death before quitting. So the concept that everybody has to understand immediately is that everyone feels the discomfort, everyone feels the want to quit, everyone feels the want to just throw in the towel. Now, there's factors that stop you from that, right? Pride, ego, dedication. You spent a lot of hours preparing for it, so you don't want to throw it all away. Shame, right? You don't want to look weak. Those are all factors that can help you. But at the end of the day, most of that is going to go out the window anyway. So you're going to need some real-time strategies of how you're going to get through your immediate problem, okay? And the number one concept, the number one, whatever you want to call it, that I use and that was taught to me by a man named Jason Sweet, right? Former PJ, he's one that runs the company SOCOM Athlete, is making your world smaller. What does that mean? Making your world smaller would be, through example, let's say you're doing a ruck run, okay? You got to do a 12-mile ruck run with 60 pounds in less than 3 hours. Well, let's say you're on mile 8 and you are maxed out. No more in the gas tank. You're cramping. You're done. You're already not going to make time, so why does it matter? Let me just quit now for I look dumb or whatever. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to look at the nearest object. Let's say it's a rock or a tree that's like 30 feet in front of you. And you're going to say, let me just put out at that rock. I will quit at that rock. And then you find the next bush. You go, I'm going to quit at the next bush. Oh, I see a turn up there. I'm going to quit at the turn. And you just keep pushing it off, okay? You could use it like this. Today is going to suck really bad. But once I get over the first pool session and double pool day, it's going to be easier. So what's the worst part of the pool? Let's just say for you, it's, doing your underwater crossover, right? Swimming underwater. Well, I'm going to attempt the underwater crossover. And once I'm down there, if I really want to bail, then I'll quit. Once you're down there, you're going to get through it, right? So then you're like, oh, hardest part of the pool's over. Might as well get to the end of the pool. Well, it's lunch. You can't quit at lunch. Oh, well, I did the crossover earlier today, so for my second pool session, I should be able to do it too. And you do it, and then you just keep going, So you can go super small down to, like I said, wow, let me survive the next 10 seconds, and I've been there before, right? Let me just get to the object 10 feet in front of me. Or, you can go, let me just get to tomorrow, or let me get to lunch, or whatever. That one trick helped me tremendously. Okay? The second thing is whatever you're trying to pursue, let's say you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you're trying to be a firefighter, you're trying to be a recon Marine, you name it, understand whatever you're training for, a lot of other people have come before you and done it themselves. So it's possible, it's just a rite of passage. And you wouldn't want to be a part of that elite group of people if anybody could do it. The third and the last thing I'm going to give for you guys in this video, obviously there's more things, but for this, is going to be understanding what could happen and accepting it beforehand. And this kind of ties a little bit to manifestation, which I'll do a different video on manifestation, but it's this concept. Let's say, right, I'll use one of the David Goggins examples, I got it from him. If you're on a run, right, you're doing an ultra marathon and it's 150 miles, your feet might break. Your toenails are probably going to fall off. That your skin on your feet might fall off, and you might permanently injure or damage yourself. That's a legitimate possibility, okay? So if you already know those things going into it, and you've already accepted them, if this happens, I'm okay with that, right? You could say, if my business fails and I go broke and I have to file bankruptcy, I'm okay with that. If everybody thinks I'm cringy, I'm okay with that. If you've accepted these things, then they can't hold you back, right? There's not something that's gonna be in your head, trying to make you quit. You're not gonna have these voices, like the devil and the angel on the shoulder. That's not gonna be a thing for you because you've eliminated that beforehand. Okay, so kind of wrapping up revisiting what we talked about in the video, the three things that people use in special operations to make sure, that they have that bulletproof mindset that they're never going to quit are making your world smaller, not focusing on how much you have left, but just focusing on the task right now. Understanding that everyone that's in the position that you want to be in went through all the struggles you're going through and it's perfectly normal, and that if they got through it, you can get through it. And then finally, accepting all the consequences that can come with your journey and being completely okay with them so that when they start to happen to you, you're not worried about it and it's not even tempting you to want to stop. So I'm going to leave you guys off of that. Actually, you know what? I'll leave you guys with the quote. I'm not sure if it's, who said it or if it's perfect, but if the quote goes something like, if you're tired of restarting, then stop quitting.